All right, ladies and gentlemen, if we can get settled back down so we get started. I was over there socializing, so we're starting a couple minutes late. I apologize. I blame Robert Beach up here for that. Yeah, he didn't want to sit in the front row anymore. That's fine. Welcome back from lunch. No sleeping. I know I do that after I eat. It's nap time, so if you got to stand up and do some jumping jacks, nobody's going to judge you. So just make sure you're moving around. Back to this morning, some great presentations. When you get a survey from us, which I'll send through the Eventbrite website, so if you signed in, I'll get you added in there. So when you get that survey, please give us some specific things that we can do better next year, or specific questions that you may want us to address. Those kinds of things. Telling us that the summer camp was horrible doesn't help me any. Being specific does. So please give us specific feedback on, hey, the speakers need to do this or whatever the case is. And I appreciate that feedback. We'd sure like to make this even better next year. So appreciate any feedback we get from you. Back to the housekeeping kind of things. Again, this is the Air Force in me. There's a fire, any emergency. There's 3 exits in the room, one over here, one in the back, and then one over here. So exit in a safe manner. Please don't trample over each other. Unless it's Ron, you can trample on him. It's okay. So right back into it. Our next speaker, Paula Phelps. She's from Southwestern College. Bless her heart, she's been dealing with Blackboard issues, and I know none of us have those problems with our LMS where they just quit working kind of thing, because it works perfectly. Everybody right? Okay, just making sure. So she's dealing with that nightmare and has graciously also volunteered her time and has put her presentation together in the midst of all that chaos she has over there. So be kind to her, and unless she asks for it. I'm just kidding. But she's going to do a demonstration or a session on PDFs. So the floor is hers.
Thank you, Cliff. I appreciate everyone coming back from lunch. I know that it's kind of a tough act to follow food. And so I'm sure that Michael and Carolyn share my sentiment in appreciating you coming back and joining us. Well, are you saying I'm not talking loud enough? That's odd. Okay, we good? Okay. All right, so when Cliff asked if this is something I'd be interested in, I said sure. So I thought that maybe he would give me maybe Word or Excel, something that I was really familiar with, okay? And he asked me to do the PDFs. And at first I said, I'm not as comfortable with that, but I'm willing to learn, just simply because not only at Southwestern do I work with Blackboard and I'm training our faculty, but I also work with them in our main campus faculty. We're starting to migrate them to use our Blackboard, our learning management system. So it's foreign to them when we talk about accessibility, in any of the documents and any of the applications that they might use, because it's all visual. It's face-to-face. They can see whether or not the students are getting it and that sort of thing. And now that they are migrating and taking portions of their courses into Blackboard, we're starting to run into some issues. So who do they come to? Because I'm the Blackboard person, they're coming to me. So together with Steve Kramer, our disabilities coordinator, we are really going to start this initiative to be able to work with our faculty to make sure that we are in compliance. So what is accessibility about? It really is, it's about people, correct? Accessibility to electronic documents, it's a right that is protected both federally and state. And we've seen some institutions, of course, that have gotten hemmed up as of late, and they've had to buckle down and bring their documents into order. Or basically they've had to pay some fines. And right now, pocketbooks are pretty slim. So with any of us having a threat hanging over us, we all have to be in compliance. I thought that this was interesting that 12.5 million or 4% of the U.S. population rely on some sort of assistive technology, which I know Carolyn's going to talk about that a little bit later this afternoon, so I'm not going to get into that a whole lot. But there are different types of assistive technology, the screen reading software, braille displays, basically, etc. But what we're going to talk about, you know, at this point in time, we've already talked about Word and PowerPoint and Excel, so now the PDFs. It was invented by Adobe. It's an open standard, so it's more of an open format. Can be created, viewed, and printed from pretty much any platform, which is nice because, you know, it's a little bit more universal. So more and more institutions are, of course, starting to adopt it. So due to its widespread use, it's important that they be created for those with disabilities to be able to access. So started looking at why PDFs as opposed to Microsoft Word. We know that Word is pretty easy to use. We fear PDFs because most often when we use them, we find that they may not be editable if we do not have the original source document. So why do we want to lean towards PDFs? Institutional adoption of the learning management systems, just as what I said that we're migrating. Plus space, the PDFs consume a little bit less space, so when you convert your PowerPoints over into a PDF, you're going to save space. Space, we all know, costs money, and again, with pretty tight purse strings, we have to be cognizant of that. One of the main reasons why we use PDFs in our institution, we're migrating in that direction as well, is to preserve the integrity of the documents. So most often, unless our students or our faculty have the Adobe themselves where they can go in and edit it, they're not going to take the time most often really to do it. Whereas with Word documents, they can go in and change things, and they come in and say, hey, you know, this is the way that this document was delivered to me, so I want an appeal, you know, I want to appeal my grade, you know, et cetera. So it's more of that integrity. The ease of opening for students when it's in the LMS, as opposed to a Word they click on and then it downloads it and then they have to open up. With the PDF, you click on it and it automatically opens up. So it ends up saving individuals' steps basically as well. And it's better accessed via mobile devices. And there is an increase, of course, of everyone wanting to use their tablets, their iPads, their mobile phones. Who doesn't have a mobile phone anymore that, you know, you don't try to open documents up, et cetera. So with the PDF, then you're able to do that. So the format of a PDF. Remember, it's an image in itself. So it's considered a destination file format. Generally, you're going to end with that. You're going to, again, initiate it by the use of a source document. So it's typically created in another application like Word or Excel. If you scan a document, it's not readily editable or accessible unless, again, you take it through the Adobe Acrobat and edit it. If you print, if you go to save it, but you're printing as, it's not editable or accessible either. So again, it's going to take a little bit more for you to go in to a PDF and make the changes. That's why it's best to try to make sure that everything is in compliance with your source document, which would either be Word, PowerPoint, or Excel. So if you scan it, the PDFs created this way can only be made accessible again with the special software or an OCR. So rule of thumb, don't even think about it if you don't have to. So what are the characteristics? One, you can search basically for the text. The fonts allow characters to be extracted to text, which is important for those with disabilities. Interactive labeled form fields with accessible error messages. You can do hyperlinks, you know, et cetera. So it's still pretty structured, just as you would with any other type of document. So with assistive technology, it depends upon the searchable text, which again is extremely important. Otherwise, you put a document in front of someone that has a visual disability and it's going to be worthless to them. Okay? So it also allows you to have alternative keyboard as opposed to using the mouse. Text is presented in a single column, which makes it a little bit easier for someone with a visual disturbance. And it still has a text-to-speech capability, and it still has the capability of high contrasting and color. So that's just basically a little bit of a background. So what I'd like to do today is demonstrate just a little bit. And again, this is something that for me, I've been a little bit afraid of it because I have not been as familiar with it. So I sat down and I taught myself, which is saying that if I can learn, then any of the rest of you can learn. Okay? And our faculty that may have been with us for 40 years that are technology challenged, they can learn as well. And so it's user friendly and it's fear free. So you can typically should start out again from like Word or Excel or PowerPoint and then take it over into PDF, okay? So that's the best way to do it. So if you start with Word, okay, there's basically 3 steps. Okay, you create the accessible Word document, you save it as a PDF, but you have to make sure that the document structure tag for accessibility box is checked under the options. Basically, as you can see here, typically that should be set up as a default in your system, but you might want to check it, the very first time you start doing that. Just note, contrast colors for background and foreground must originate with the native document, so your source document, okay? There's a link that I put in here that is a great website for how to, and that's basically converting different documents to another type of document as long as it's a Microsoft product. So how do we edit text in a PDF? Of course, you have to open the PDF, okay? So whether it is something that you've scanned in or that you are taking from a native document, now you have a PDF document. All you have to do is come up here. And I bring this document forward because this is a revision of our syllabus. In order to be more in compliance ADA-wise, we have totally reconstructed our syllabus. So this is in process, which is really kind of nice because I've gotten to play with it just a little bit. So we've tried to make it nice and clean and take tables, et cetera, out of it. But this is a PDF saved document. So it's pretty easy. There's multiple ways for you to be able to access this document and edit it. Okay, you basically have a pane, an option pane on the right-hand side. You also have an option pane on the left, and then you have, this toolbar up on top as well. So you just basically go to Edit PDF, and now it's going to open it up and allow you to be able to edit it however you would like. So if you want to change text, okay, if it's not coming up here, let me do this here. I want you to be able to see this. I apologize. Why is my document not wanting to come up? Yeah, but I had it up earlier and it came up. See what I've done here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. Didn't have to do that, but let me get out of this. Now, here we go. Sorry about that, folks. In practice, it worked. Okay, so essentially what I did, again, is being able to edit the PDF. It's going to be basically on this side as well. Right here, let's go back and we'll convert it. So you have essentially on the pane here, just edit the PDF. And as you can see, it's going to bring it up into different sections for you. And so you just click wherever you want to change, just as you would edit any other document. It's that easy. But you do have to make sure to do this, that you have the Adobe Acrobat Pro. Now, what's also nice, even though it does cost, You can have a 7-day trial for free, okay, to be able to play with it, to get a little bit of an idea, to see whether or not it's something that you do want to adopt. But again, it's just like anything else. You can go in here and you can edit the text. Boom, just like anything else. So it's actually pretty easy to be able to do that. Again, just with any other document. So you're actually able to go in and you're able to use all of the font options to change the font size. You're able to go ahead and to change the font style, the color. Advise against using green. Basically, let's do blue here. You can center. You can basically align it however you want to. So again, you can do everything that you would normally do with Word, or basically PowerPoint. It's pretty easy to be able to do that. So then the next thing that we wanted to cover then is, okay, then how do you edit an image in here? So with this, it has a nice little image, and I have already tagged it. So again, you just click on it, okay, because then you're selecting the item, and go down here, and it basically brings up the tags. Okay, you can go basically up here also, and you can use, any of these. So again, there's multiple ways to be able to add. So you can basically, you can tag it here. You can basically, you can create a new tag, you can delete the tag, you can delete empty tags, basically, etc. So it's saying that there's no tags on there. No tags available, basically, because I removed them. But then I can edit the text, basically the images, etc. as well. So you see how I'm accessing it from pretty much all over. Let's go here. You can add tags then here. You can go down to wherever you want to add the tags to, because it's going to provide this little menu basically on the side. And then I want to add, there we go, from basically what I had done before. My new tag. And then I just basically title it. So these are basically our pillars. That way, when someone is using a screen reader, etc., then they're going to see that it's, pillars at Southwestern College. Okay, and then basically you see down here, so that again, you're going to be able to see that you have added that. So this just provides you the little bit of the overview, or basically the outline. You can also then, you can copy the different images that you want, and then you're able to go ahead, you can copy from wherever you want to go. You can insert a URL, etc. here. So here I want to copy. Okay, just say that I want to put it down here, and then, come on. Everything's not agreeing with me today, but yesterday it worked just fine. Okay, if I want to add an image, this is where I can go in and I can pull up any image that basically I would like, and then place it wherever I would like to be able to put it. And then you can size it, you can crop it, you can pretty much do whatever you want with it. Again, this should all be familiar to you if you are familiar with, Microsoft products. See how that works out easy? That is. The other thing that I wanted to be able to show, we've done the images, we've done the text, and then it's basically the reordering. Okay, so what's really nice is that you can search over here. You don't have to take your cursor and go down and try to find whatever it is that you're looking for. Here, I want to reorder. Did bring it up. reading order right here. So you can basically search. And what this will do, you click on the reading order here. It's going to basically show you then where your text is, where your headings are, etc. And then it's going to allow you to reorder. Basically, that means that you're going to be able to move things around. Come on. Guys, I'm used to working on 3 monitors at a time. This is hard working on one. Okay, I've got to get down here to the bottom to be able to click to be able to bring it up. And what it then will do, I'll do it this way. Again, there's always an alternative. This allows me right there on the side. So again, there's different alternatives for you to be able to get to where you need. So if I want to reorder, do you see how it has everything numbered? So when someone is reading the document and they have a screen reader, et cetera, they're going to start here, then they'll go down here, and basically on down. And so it just shows you the reading order. So if I decided that I wanted to go ahead and move, say I wanted to go ahead and move 2 up, then I can basically move it up in Luke. Come on. And then it has it in pages. There we go. Basically, it moved it up into right here, renumbered it. So this would be the first thing that our reader would see, as opposed to the figure with Southwestern College that was number 1. So then it allows you to be able to go in and just check and not be as concerned maybe when you're originating the document, or if someone else provided the original document, they may have wanted it in a particular order, but you look at it and say, no, this isn't the way that we want to use this document. So as opposed to going in and having to retype it, you're just able to go ahead and to move things around and kind of change the structure, which is really nice to be able to do that. Because once you have the original document, the native document, that's where they recommend that you make the changes. But if you don't have that, then that's generally when you're going to go into the PDF and make the changes. Does that make sense on that? And then basically, to get out of this, then it's going to automatically save it. You want to make sure that it's what you want, and then basically you X out of it. So just, again, just in reordering, you can move it wherever you want. And then you have the different pages with the way that it is set up. It divides it down into different increments as well. So here's the next page. So this will show you page 4. So that as you're looking at this, you may have some similar items, just like what we do. You know, we have, our different units, the graded work due. Well, then we'll know that this is on, page 4 as opposed to on page 1. So if we want to move it up on page 4, then we can do it, or we can move it up to the other pages. Okay. If there's anything else you want to see, then just let me know. Why it keeps doing this. All righty. So I think that's the 3 things that I really wanted to cover today, basically in editing an image and the reading order. One of the reasons for the reading order, again, is so that you can see what the reader is basically going to see and see if it's visually appealing, etc. You can use it to perform different accessibility tasks, so visually check and then modify the reading order. Tag the fillable form field so you can see whether or not an image has been tagged, so that the reader will be able to see whether or not it exists. So again, it allows you to do a precursor check. Now, one thing is you always want to try to make sure that you go back to the source file in case you're going to reuse it again, because it does take more time once you have to go back in and to recheck that document. But best practices are that you just don't depend upon each one of these documents and their functions, or basically the applications. It is best still to follow up with like a screen reader or something like that, if you're particularly concerned. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else. Again, providing some resources here. Acrobat Pro, they have a phenomenal, I think it's 129 pages of an accessibility guide with step-by-step, again, very user-friendly instructions to do really whatever it is that you want to be able to do. And they did work in conjunction, of course, here for the WCAG 2.0 standards. And I had actually downloaded a couple of free screen readers as well. You can get free trials on these, and basically the NVDA is it is a free screen reader. So again, you can have that partner with your visuals and all that you are doing over your documents as well. Again, to give it a little bit of a second eye. So, okay, that's it. Any questions? Ron, I knew you were going to ask me a question.
Well, just a point. I looked at JAWS, I was going to try it,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't see a free option. I saw 3 months for some of $900.
No, it was a free trial.
There is a free.
There is a free trial. Mm-hmm. Yep, I downloaded it again yesterday to make sure that when we first started this journey with Cliff, things change. Sometimes, the vendors, they allow things and they don't. So I re-uploaded it on another computer last night for a free trial just to make sure that I was being truthful. Okay, so it's a nice little resource. And, I was able to go ahead and use the same email with 2 downloads. And so, I think you can kind of keep reusing it over and over and over if you need to. Anyone else? Yes, sir. The 365? The Office 365? No. Mm-mm. Now, there can be different levels depending upon what your institution wants, but I know that we have one of the highest levels with most options for our faculty to be able to use. And I have the highest option just because I assigned them out, and I didn't even have it. So that's why I went ahead and downloaded the free version. Otherwise, it's a single. If you do a year, it was $14.95 a month if you commit to a year for a single license.
I would suggest you talk to your IT people. I know for WSU Tech, they're the ones that handle the purchase of software that we use as an institution. And for us, they purchase X amount of Adobe Suite or something like that, with the option of, had the Acrobat, Adobe Pro, and all those kinds of things in it. So talk to your IT folks. Oftentimes they manage the software that's available to you, and they may already have something for you. If they don't, I apologize, and you'll tell them to get it for you. Maybe they won't, I don't know. But at WSU Tech, that's how it worked for us. We didn't necessarily have to go find it. Our IT department actually provided those services for us, which was nice.
We have that in our IT department as well, but we have them assigned to different people. But I think that if we start using it more, then we'll look at an institutional type thing. And of course, in education, most often, these vendors will provide an educational discount. Any other questions that I can answer?
Yeah, question over here. Can you project, Jennifer? No, I'm going to bring you the mic.
Well, and I don't know if there's anything you can do about, but maybe somebody knows a way around this. Sometimes the publishers will send an accessible PDF of a text, but it's the whole text in PDF. And for someone that uses a screen reader, from what I understand, like it's not marked up to where the chapters are, easy to go to. So I don't know if there's a way around that. if it like the reading order. Typically, what I have to do is copy and paste it onto like a Word document or something, and then just a chapter by chapter, and he can have the screen reader will read it that way, easier for him. But I don't know if you know of any ways around that.
I use
Possibly?
VitalSource. And with VitalSource, if it's a textbook that that I have access to, and because again with Southwestern College, with my position, I kind of have an open access on it, and you can go and you can act as if you're going to print some of those pages, but you save as. And you can save the particular pages. Most often it'll limit you maybe anywhere from 2 to 10 to 15 pages as well. And so you just give it the range of pages and then you save that and save it as the PDF, and then you go back in and then you have to edit it and that sort of thing. But you have to have Acrobat to be able to do that with.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Vital, VITAL source. I think they've changed. Okay, so now it's VitalSource. Okay, yeah. Does anyone else do that? Use it that way?
Jennifer, Casey can help you with that. Okay.
Casey's your man. You know, or you can always take the long way and basically, you know, copy and, you know, and paste and all, but that is, you lose the formatting and everything on it, and it's a real pain to do that. So, any other questions that I can help with? Always happy to help. Okay.
Talkative crowd. You were just that good.
I wouldn't say that. Probably they're still waking up from their naps.
I know the nightmare for uploading content when it comes to PDF, and she may have touched on this, is folks will scan in documents, and by default your scanners will make it a PDF version. At least it does for us. And it takes a picture. It's a picture. It's not the actual document itself. It's just a picture. Can you imagine the nightmare of trying to alt text that thing? No. A lot of the software will actually change that for you into editable text, but you have to be real careful. It doesn't always pick up all the characters and stuff that it needs to, but at least it gives you a place to start from. Yes?
This is not specific necessarily to PDF, but if you have an image or an object that you tag or alt text, and you're planning on using that same image repeatedly, copy and paste that, does it bring the tag with you?
Yes, it does. Especially, I don't know about PDS, but in the Microsoft products they do. And so that's a thank you for that. So just make sure that when you're out there working on making PDF documents accessible, and if you're using Blackboard Ally or some other program to identify accessibility issues, and it just says that your image isn't alt tagged, yeah, the screen reader is going to read nothing on that document. You have to make it in a format to where the screen readers are going to read it. So if you're scanning in documents to show it to your folks, just keep that in mind. It's going to be a picture, and there's no way those screen readers are going to be able to read what's on that document. Am I right, Robert? All right. See, I got an okay from Robert. We're good. Also with images, and we talked about this a lot before. We had a little extra time, so now you got to listen to me talk. Make sure your images that you're using are relevant to the content that you're using. We try to make it as simple as possible, but if you're putting a whole bunch of pictures in there, it makes it difficult for the individual going through a screener. It's popping from picture to picture to picture, and if there's lots going on in the picture and you do not adequately describe what's going on in that picture in the content itself, you really don't want to put 4 paragraphs in the alternate text area. It's going to drive them crazy. So if it's relevant to your content and there's a lot going on there, describe what's going on in that image in your content, and then just refer to that picture. Okay, in this picture you will see this, this, and this, and this, and this, and that'll help the individual that's going through that more easily. Okay, yes, that's relevant to what's going on, as opposed to it's just a decorative image or just leaving them hanging there. So, yeah, action verbs is good. Any comments about any issues that people are coming across that we haven't discussed today that we can write down and answer later, or now if we can? Okay. But wait, no. Of course.
This to you, and to anyone else who's working with tagging. when you come to especially something like logos or images that aren't content driven, do you find that it's good for the student or the person reading it to just artifact that image and make it a background image so that a screen reader doesn't read it if it's not pertinent to the content, or do you go ahead and alt tag it anyway? Add alt text, like the logo in Southwestern College. Would you just artifact that and background it since it's a document about Southwestern College?
Good question. What do you think, Robert?
Exactly. Archive it, put it to the background if it's not.
I gotta get
if
your
it's
microphone, Robert. We've been through this before.
Absolutely. Archive it, put it to the background if it is not content specific. That way the image stays there for the sighted people who want to see the eye candy, and it's out of the way for the people who don't want to hear the eye candy.
Yeah, you do have things by law or by policy that have to be in there, so that's something to think about. Thank you for that. Anything else? Otherwise, I guess you get a little bit bigger of a break. Our next presenter is, yeah, go ahead and clap for her, please. I was getting to that, but thank you. It's okay. It's all right. Next presenter is from Butler. He's going to be doing video captioning. So I know a lot of you use a lot of YouTube videos. It's going to be very helpful for most of you. So we've got about 20 minutes. So enjoy yourself. We have some afternoon snacks here. We took away the breakfast items. Now you have like Smart Pop popcorn, cookies for all you folks that need to stay awake, those kinds of things. And again, there's still water and coffee over here.